this.
What if God told you, okay, here's the game plan. You're going to be born to a mama who didn't want you. You was going to be fat. Your daddy.
This is so inspirational. This is why DoDash has taken the internet, well, specifically YouTube, by storm. Because, man, that kind of inspiration that she is spreading, I'm sure that resonates with so many people. In my personal life, yeah, I feel the same way. I wasn't wanted by my parents, had to fight for everything, constantly bullied. It never felt like anybody was caring about what was best for me. It's more like no one cared about me at all. Like, be seen and not heard. And when they said be seen, they didn't really want to see you either. I used to sit in the corner and read a lot quietly. Just be quiet. Or I'd play with my toys and just be quiet. And now people wonder why I have trouble with my... Yeah, it's difficult for me to get on the video and start talking. I'm not a talking kind of person. But, well, I'm a person who believes in living in my time frame, so this is the thing that's occurring within this time frame. Is the predominant form of communication is video. So, yep, I got to get comfortable talking on the video. So this is me doing that. And yeah, DoDash helps a lot. She makes you feel like you can do it. Like, like no matter what adversity you've been through, just hang in there, dig in, keep going. And that's the kind of person I've always been. And I've had times when I have fallen and somehow, I guess, well, those are what I call the come to Jesus times, where somehow you still keep going. And it's like that poem where somehow you've made it across the beach, but you don't see any footprints. It's because apparently God was carrying you. And I don't really believe in the traditional God, the Old Testament type God. I'm more into spiritualism, as apparently the majority of the country is becoming more spiritual over traditionally religious, because the authoritarian factor sucks of traditional religion. And as quantum physics becomes more known, people realize the more we learn, the less we actually know. We don't know anything. We don't know anything. This whole that we've been operating by virtue of, Newtonian physics, the certainty of Newtonian physics. We've had such certitude over the last couple of centuries. And frankly, it's gotten old, very old, because, well, the more you know, the more you realize, the less you actually know. And yeah, I've always been pretty self-motivating and incessantly curious. My curiosity has driven me to even sometimes overcome my innate sense of anxiety and just seek things out. That was how I ended up finding my way to punk rock to begin with. Heck, that's what inspired me to, at the time, my parents had moved me to Tucson, Arizona, and that was back in the 1970s. Pulled me out of boarding school, and all of a sudden I was in Tucson, Arizona, and it was like this little nothing town, and pretty much anything went. No one really bothered anybody else or cared about anybody else. It's just live and let live, pretty much. I'm not too sure where I was going with that, other than Well, it was just a boring little town and not much happened, so I aspired to come back to the big city of Chicago. I still maintain some my friendships from my old neighborhood. So I came back and I left my mother behind. She promised she was going to come with me, but she didn't. My father passed away. Well, first after I graduated high school, I went to basically a trade school for photography. It's called Ray Vogue. I was doing reasonably well on my own. I left when I was 18 and I got an apartment. I even found work. One of my classmates, he turned me on to a job at the Italian Village. I was taking photographs of the customers while they were eating. Sometimes it was just couples, sometimes it was group events. And then I'd run into the back room and just put my hands in the dark bag and take the film out and just develop those strips and process all that. It was, well, obviously, when you go to the Italian Village, that was a big deal occasion, so it took some time. So I was typically given about an hour to get back to the table with the finished product to sell to the customer. But that was, my dad died 6 months into my time back in Chicago at Ray Vogue, and then I became the sole caregiver for my handicapped mother. She was wheelchair bound and used a potty chair and needed to be lifted in and out of bed. So, and I guess my dad, he had become depressed and stopped taking his medication. He had heart disease and he ended up having a heart attack out in the backyard. My mother couldn't do anything about it because she was stuck in the wheelchair, and all she could do was go to the phone and call 911. But she attributed it to a suicide. Even on the holy cards for his funeral, that's basically what she said, asking for God to forgive him for. I don't know, man. I guess he just couldn't take. Because I used to help out too, and I guess he couldn't take trying to take care of her by himself, so I guess he got real depressed and stopped taking his medication and ended up having a heart attack and dying. And it really kind of ticks me off because, well, where was the part where you were thinking about Marie and going to Marie's wedding and seeing Marie live her life? Where was that part where somebody cared about me, their kid? And I was always aware that parents were supposed to care about their kids because I saw other parents caring for their kids. It's like, yeah, at that time, all us kids got hit, you know, we, we'd get a good spanking, as they called it. I don't know. Sometimes to this day, I even wonder about that. On one hand, forever I've been an advocate of, no violence. But then you see how it's turned into this weirdly authoritarian, narcissistic society. And, huh, is that from the beating or lack of beating? I'm not too sure. Hmm. Well, that's not a topic for another day. I can't go there. That's a tough one. Let's see. I jotted down some other topics. What else? Oh yeah. Yeah, in spite of the fact that no one ever actually saw me, I always felt self-motivated. I don't know what that was about, but to this very moment, I feel self-motivated. I mean, look, here I'm trying to learn something new and different and do something new and different because I want to, well, I'm incessantly curious. It means a lot to me to keep up with everything. I just like to. But yeah, I never had a feeling like I belonged anywhere in particular. I never had my people, my ride or dies. It was always, I feel like I'm considered more of a resource than a person. And yeah, you know, it sucks. It's, especially at this age, because I know there's not a whole lot of time left to straighten everything out, get things to be the way I wanted them to be. And this anxiety has just plagued me throughout my life. It's just limited me. I'm always insecure. I'm insecure. My boss, well, my supervisor, she's more diplomatically put it, timid. I'm not really timid. I mean, if if I had a, get into a fight, well, it's like I only have the two modes. I'm nice or nasty. I didn't learn the diplomacy part because I didn't have family to guide me, you know, didn't have practice with brothers and sisters or however it is that people do that. So, yeah, that was a limitation. And I saw somebody on YouTube talking about, man, there's a lot of stuff they should teach in school that they don't. Yeah, it was a Gen Z, or apparently they're dissatisfied with the way things are as well. Like it really doesn't make a lot of sense. It's like, why don't they teach you life stuff? Even when I was a teenager, they sort of taught you life stuff. They had home ec for the women and shop for the guys. So it's kind of reflection of the era. Of course, apparently the era is going back to that again. But at the same time that was happening, well, Gloria Steinem was talking, writing books, and Helen Reddy was singing, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar, and I thought I was liberated, so I thought I was liberated. I was wearing pants instead of having to wear a dress. I remember my dad saying, go on in the house and put on a dress. Once I was about 12 or so. So I don't know. Liberation. What the hell is that? I don't know. Everybody wants it, but nobody can get it. Is it? I think it's something you have to find in yourself, really. Of course. Well, by having it in yourself, you can extend it out to others and maybe, but man, that's going to take a long time to build a world of kindness and respect and regard for each other. Whoo. And then, of course, there's those who just don't want that to happen, and they're the ones who got all the money and the power, and well, I don't know. It doesn't look good for us little guys, huh? I don't know. I just don't know. Like I say, my whole deal is I'm just trying to keep surviving, keep myself going. I don't, I aspire to more than just surviving. I would like to thrive. I would like to find out what that's like. And when I hear Dodash screaming that she made an S ton of money, I'm like, All right, girl. Good for you. It's like you got something going for you, so more power to you. I love it when the little guy wins. I wish we could see instances of the little guy winning. And that's another thing I was thinking too. Back in the 1970s when they were filming the Vietnam War, that was a radical and courageous thing to do because those journalists were putting their lives on the line to bring us this footage so that people could be more aware of what was happening. And now the media has been so demonized. Excuse me. And it's it's because of it's a corporate monopoly now, basically. The corporations are controlling the news. You never see them presenting, the ordinary lives of ordinary people. Oh, back in when I was in college, I did a project called Regular People Doing Regular Things in Their Regular Lives. Yeah, and it was just photographs of my friends just doing their regular things in their regular lives. It's like, why is that so demonized? The only time you even see that is in the Connors show. And, well, we don't know what happened to Roseanne. She went kind of screwy there. I don't know. I don't know. That whole celebrity thing. I don't know what happens there. I don't know. But I don't know. You got to be careful. Just got to be careful. It's really hard to try to keep a hold on yourself and not let the world change you. Wow. I don't know. My husband's coming home from dialysis soon, so that was the only chance I had to have the house to myself. This was an odd day. He usually goes on my work days, but because of the upcoming holiday, Thanksgiving, they had him come in today. So I finally got a few hours to myself, but they're about to end now, so he's coming home soon. So I ought to end the video, that way I can get to work on doing stuff with it. At least I got to walk around the house with the gimbal slash tripod. That was cool because I can never do that when he's home. Who did I hear saying? Oh, Denzel Washington said, yeah, it's better to be single than alone because, well, you just do whatever you want to do at any given time. A lot of times he'll move stuff around and I don't know what happened to it. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just tired. It's it's been a lot with him and his family, and he never prioritized me, and apparently I'm part of a phenomena now that older women are leaving their husbands because, well, they just basically were a hole and a scapegoat. That's been my purpose, hole and scapegoat. I know that sounds crude and rude, but truth be told, that's how I feel. And from my friends, I feel like I've just been a resource, and when my resources dried up, mm, nobody seemed to care. And I don't know, I just got tired of bothering to try with people. So I just did a hermit thing. And conveniently, the pandemic happened, and the whole rest of the world joined me. So I don't know. I'm just trying to do the best I can do, and I think I'm coming full circle where I'm coming out of it. Let's put it that way. Or I'm going further into it. I'm not too sure. Quantum physics. Am I jumping in a black hole or a rabbit hole? I don't know. But I'm trying this YouTube thing, so I'm trying something. I'm always trying something. I always want to try. So, in any case, yep, best cut it short. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.